Hello again, Lockpicking Paul here, and what I've got tonight is a TuBAR, T-U-B-A-R, and this I think is Chicago locks, like a vending machine type cam lock. I think you get them on petrol pumps as well. It's a high security lock. It has 8 sliders. I'm just going to turn the, as you can see even better, you've got 4 along the top and 4 along the bottom. And this has 2 sidebars, TuBAR, right? And the sidebars, I don't think that's locked up actually. I just picked it. Let me just, yeah, it was unlocked. There we go. It's probably better. Okay. So you can see both of the sets of pins. You've got a sidebar that runs along here, and a sidebar that runs along here. And those pins all have, I think, up to 3 false gates on each pin, plus the true gate. And the shoulders on the true gates are tapered. Now you've got a couple of things in your favor with this. I think there's a bit of a design flaw with the lock. The true gates are quite large, and it's really obvious the difference between the true gate and the false gate. The false gates are very, very shallow and bind super, super hard. But a couple of things can work in your favor when picking it. One, I found that if I start in the middle of a lock and pick outwards towards one direction, I can quite often get the lock open on just 6 pins going in either direction, and I'll hopefully demonstrate that in the pick in a minute. What else to say about it? Yeah, well, the sidebar, as far as I can tell, there's enough movement in the sidebar that 3 pins on either side is all it takes to get the sidebar to retract towards the core to allow it to turn. So a really, really interesting lock. Unfortunately, I don't have a key to compare the bitting with, so I picked it blind, but it wasn't that difficult. The first couple of times it took a while to figure out the lock. Because of the tapers, you tended to go sort of round and round and round in circles, and I found the solution to that is just to pile on the tension. Loads and loads and loads of tension on this lock, and that gets by those tapers super easy. I just should say thank you to LockChuck for sending me this. It was completely unexpected. I got it yesterday, and I've had an absolute blast really digging into this lock. It's a fascinating lock, and it's really fun to pick. So the video you're about to see, I'm sure will be quite quick, and it's going to make it look quite easy. But if you get one of these for the first time, be prepared to spend a while on it, sort of dialing into the lock and what it needs. Once you're dialed in, it's super easy. I can get this open fast every time. But until I dialed into it, it was actually quite a lot of work. So here you go. We'll do the pick. I want to get it set it up so I can get it sort of close on that keyway, because everything's buried in there, and hopefully we'll get it picked nice and fast. I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so I'm going to get this open. First thing I'm going to do is just wiggle the core, just to make sure we've got no pins that are sort of jammed or still set. The equivalent of raking something like a Medico before you pick it. All right, so lots of tension. Notice I've got a fairly hefty bend in that. Okay, I don't want these tapers to cause me a ton of trouble. Can I see that pin? Right, nice good click out of a second pin. Third along the top. Again, a really good click, but it's gone dead. And I think that's in a false gate, so I'm going to give that another push. Okay, and this now got spring. Bottom pin now, really tight. And I think that's in a false gate. Give that another push. Okay, much more movement, much more spring. That one's good. It's a nice click. There we go. Open. And you'll notice I didn't pick the right hand 2 pins. I only picked the top 6 pins, or the leftmost 6 pins, and that's a bit of an oddity with this lock. And so I'm just going to lock this back up again. If I started at this end of the lock and picked in that direction in exactly the same sort of order, the lock would open again. So I can open it on 6 pins either side of the lock, which is an interesting observation. But I think that's got something to do with the way the sidebars run. So if the first 6 pins on either side all get set, that's probably enough to drive the sidebars in and the lock will turn. So you don't actually have to pick 2 of the pins. Well, you don't on this lock if you get them set right, which is a bit of an oddity. I have had it where I have had to pick all 8 pins, but time and again I can pick it using 6 pins. Well, why don't we just try that? But I'll tension the other direction. So I'm going to start this end of the lock. Again, way too much tension. Nothing on those 2. Click out of that one. Click out of that one. And a little tiny bit of movement on that second pin. I've gone back to that second pin there, and now I'm in a false gate. So I'm going to give it another push. If I can get it set, it's so tight. There you go. That's in a true gate. That's a false, so I need to give it another push. Okay, that's a true gate. That's a true gate. That's set. What are these 2? Yeah, this one's binding now, I think. Yeah, that's set. So it's not a 0 lift pin. Right, let's see if we can get this last one set. It's really, really stiff. So I'm not sure I'm not on it. No, it's not, but it's really stiff. Ah, that has tightened up again. False gate. Let's try that. Okay, that's now set. Shake the other 4. Yeah. There we go, this one is setting. I think that's come out. Another go. No. They're both set. 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 Not a lot of bounce to that one, but I'm going to have to pick those left 2 pins. There we go, it's open. And I barely touched that one, I just tapped the top of it and it opened. So, interesting. The top right hand pin I didn't even touch at any point during that pick. So, make of that what you will. But if you start in the middle and work outwards towards one end, there's a good chance the lock will open. So, really interesting lock. Hope you enjoyed that. And once finally, Lock Chuck, thanks so much for sending me this. I've had an absolute blast picking this. It really is an interesting lock. And if I can get one that I can take apart, I should like to do that. Cool. See you soon. Cheers.